I can keep this relationship with my owner up anymore. You know, I want to make music and do my job, but they just keep choking me out. Like, they squeeze the neck, I can't resonate the notes properly. I just know I need someone actually care enough to play me properly. So I'm hoping you can say something that can help. Thanks.
Hello everyone. Today is a more serious video. Earlier today I consulted with a very distressed violin that is just not happy with the playing relationship they have with their owner. So today we're going to be talking about how to properly play your violin so that you and your violin can live in harmony, make beautiful music together. Alright, now that we got all the serious stuff out of it, let's slap right into it. I just wanted to set the tone that it is really serious to play your instrument properly. This video is more for those of you who know how to play a little bit. You probably had a couple of lessons or you had someone kind of teach you and you just feel like it's way too hard. So the first thing we're going to talk about is hand placement when you are playing your violin. As you can see, there is space between my thumb and my pointer finger. Usually when people are starting out, you guys end up doing something like this or like this, and you're like really squeezing. You're like choking out your violin and you have so much tension in your hand. There's just no way for you to quickly be able to play fast notes or get good sound. Natural instinct, you don't feel comfortable. Your instinct is, oh my gosh, I'm gonna mess up, and you tense up and you also tense in your hand. So it's not as easy as just stop choking your violin, stupid. You're gonna need some help. And this help comes I used to be able to say, wow, how times have changed. I used to be able to say that this is very easy and accessible and everyone has it in their home, but 2020 kind of changed that. But now, for the most part, you can find paper products very easily. So you can use toilet paper. Toilet paper is a little softer. Tissue. You can use paper towel if you want, but you're going to want to get tissue. And what you're going to do is you're going to roll it up into a little ball. I like using toilet paper just because it's already perforated into little squares, so you can just take off as many little squares as you need to fit the space between your hands. You're not going to have to do like a rough grip. And you're going to make a little ball and you're going to put it right in between the webbing of your finger, your pointer finger and your thumb. And that is going to literally stop you from squeezing. It's going to help you have that space that you need to have between your pointer finger and your thumb. And that's going to allow you to be able to swing to other strings very quickly, to be able to slide up and down the fingerboard and get to other playing positions very smoothly once you're not choking your violin anymore. Now, quick tip, again, there will be more detailed videos on these. Along with not choking your violin, a good way to also stay in tune is to use your thumb to mark where your first finger is perfectly in tune. So that could be if you're playing third, fourth, fifth, sixth, whatever position you're playing in, wherever your first finger is going to be, that's where your thumb should be. So they should be lined up like they're going to be coming together to make a perfect okay. So wherever your first finger is perfectly in tune, that is where your thumb needs to be on the side. And your thumb should not be sticking up, looking out. It should be right below the neck, right below the fingerboard, like very flush with it. It might go up and down a little bit, but it definitely shouldn't be sticking up like this. And that's going to help your intonation, or you being able to play in tune, and it's going to help you be a lot more fluid on your violin. Going along with your left hand and how you utilize it on the fingerboard, you want to make sure that you are playing with the tips or the pads of your fingers and you're not playing like this. When people start out, they end up doing this where your fingers kind of turn diagonally and you're playing with like most of this area of your fingers. Make sure you are playing with the squishy, fluffy, patty area or the tips of your fingers when you're playing. And the reason why you want to do that is because it makes it more precise. When you put your finger here, it's actually here. It's actually right there. When you play like this, you start off like here, and then as your fingers maneuver, now it's slowly sliding out of tune. Or you just can't properly be in tune because your fingers are diagonal, so they're pushing away from where you actually need to be. It's also going to help you be able to play on other strings better. Meaning, this is me playing flat. It gets in the way, it gets scratchy sounds. When I play with a nice arch, yay! I can get to the other string. And the reason why, see if I can give you guys a good view. When I have a nice high arch, my fingers aren't interfering with the other strings. When my fingers are flat like this, it's messing with the other strings being able to vibrate and produce a nice sound. So you want a nice high arch, that way you can get the other strings. When my fingers are down, it gets in the way. Okay, so now I've covered everything that has to do with your fingers and the fingerboard on the violin. You're probably like, wait, how am I gonna play fast notes and do all this cool stuff? Like, I thought the focus would be that. Wrong, very novice assumption. Actually, the hardest thing to learn how to do is to play properly with your bow, and that's just because really utilizing the pressure properly with your bow and getting it to sound nice and not doing weird things with your arm, it's such a delicate balance. That's the hard part. So again, this video is assuming you already know how to hold your bow properly. Practice long bows. The reason why you want to practice long bows because it's going to help you train your arm to have the strength to be at the correct positions. It's also going to help you work on your bow pressure. So when you're doing this, you're not just going. There's a couple things you need to be doing while you're doing these long bows. So number one is you want to be able to get a nice smooth sound from frog to tip. So the second thing you want to do is you also want to be able to keep a nice consistent volume. So the closer you are to the frog, the louder things are. As you get further away from the frog, things naturally lighten up. But the volume, that's because this is the heaviest part of your bow, both literally and it's the closest to your hand. The further you get away from the bow, this is a lot lighter, and it's also far away from the weight of your arm. So you need to really listen to it and get used to, okay, I am lighter when I'm here because it's already naturally heavier. I put more pressure as I get to the tip. Lots of pressure, little less pressure, barely no pressure. While you're doing this, you want to make sure your bow is nice and straight. You shouldn't be getting. I like to call this windshield wipers because new students get the action going when you're playing. Be really, really careful with that. You're probably like, okay, well, how do I see that while I'm playing? Make sure you're bending your wrist and not using your elbow. So when you go out, there we go. Your wrist should be bending out. When you go in, you bend your wrist all the way in. Out. In. And your wrist. Your wrist is meant to bend and be very flexible. Don't try to stop it from doing what a wrist does. Let him do his job. Your bow should be nice and parallel with the fingerboard when you start. It should, if you're looking at a mirror, it should be nice and straight. Once you feel like you've looked in the mirror a couple of times and you're like, okay, well, I want to be able to do it eventually without looking, stand in front of a wall. And what you're going to do is, you're going to extend your hand all the way out, and then you're going to go up against the wall. That way, you know how far your arm goes out. You're going to continue your bowing exercises. Now the reason why you go up against the wall with after you've fully extended your down bow is to make sure you have that set up. And when you do it and you extend all the way out with your down bow, you want to make sure that your bow is nice and straight. Once you've done that and you're practicing against the wall is going to prevent you from extending your elbow backwards and doing that windshield wiper motion. If you feel your body twisting or you feel like you're being pushed away from it, that means you're using your elbow and trying to extend backwards. And it'll be a physical reminder tapping you on the elbow like, hey, you're doing something a little bit wonky right here, so be careful. The thing everyone kind of does when you start messing up is you start skimping away from the bow like you're hiding it. I'm obsessed with SpongeBob, so I'm going to use my favorite SpongeBob reference for this. You need to be ugly and proud. I'm pretty sure I used that in another video, but it's just so great and applicable to be an artist. You need to be ugly and proud. If you're going to make a mistake doing this, baby, what are you doing? That doesn't make it any better. You drew everyone's attention to it because they heard a consistent volume, and then all of a sudden everything dropped out. It's obvious that something is wrong. If you just do that, unless someone's a trained musician or they know the song, they're more inclined to be like, very avant-garde. I really like that. That was unique. They're more likely to assume it was artistic interpretation or something else than if you wimp out. So make sure you are owning your mistakes. Plus, if you play it with confidence, it makes it easier for you to see what you're doing wrong. If you try to stop yourself from expressing the mistake, then you can't really tell what you did wrong. It's uncomfortable, but that's an uncomfortable space you want to live in when you're trying to learn music. Like, that's how everyone that's great becomes great. And by the way, all the greats mess up. They're just really good at owning it and maneuvering around it in a way that you can't tell. The only thing that separates a novice from an expert is that they have a good poker face. When you're new, you're like, oh my gosh, I have to hide it, I don't want everyone to. Well, now we all know because you stopped making noise, and now that's suspicious. Now, going along with not skimping away, make sure you're using enough pressure. For some reason, you guys like being quiet when you're learning. Be proud of your instrument. I mean, unless your family's telling you to shut up. Well, do it when no one's home and everyone's at the mall. Well, everyone's home now because it's COVID. Well, if they bought you an instrument during COVID, they expect to hear you making noise. So, point remains. So when you're playing, don't go. Don't do that. Don't do that, because now you're getting a scratchy sound, and if everything else is perfect, now you're like, well, why does it still sound bad? You're not giving enough bow. And that will usually fix most of the problems for the people that play fairly well. They're like, oh, I know how to play a couple songs, I feel pretty okay, but I just never really sound like, a real violinist. It's probably because you're playing really soft and timidly, and you just have to put all your insecurities in it and put some good pressure. Seldomly do I have to tell someone you're playing too aggressively. You're usually playing way too soft, and your bow just can't get enough grip on the string to really make it resonate, and that's why you're getting that crappy sound. So really dig in. And when I say dig in, I mean dig in, because every time someone's like, yeah, I'm playing, you're not digging in. Dig in. And last but not least, start with your bow on the string. So if you're starting a song, don't go. Don't do that. If you're gonna play, there's like that quick second, and it's like, if you have a trained ear, it's like nasty. Versus, it just doesn't sound as nice. It doesn't sound the same. It doesn't. Alright guys, so I think we've covered a couple of things for you guys to do. Just to open up the door of things that you can do to sound better. There's a billion other, gajillion other things you can also do, but this is a really good start. I promise These tips will clean up a lot of the main issues that most beginners have. These are the issues that my students predominantly have. I'm sure most of these you guys are going to be able to resonate with. If you guys utilize all of these, you're going to feel so much better about how you sound. So, as always, I hope this video was very helpful for you. I hope it was informative. I hope you guys actually do this stuff and don't just lie to yourselves. You know what? Yeah, we're going to add that as the last tip. Don't lie to yourself. Don't say you're practicing something and you're not. Like, actually practice the stuff that you suck at. Don't, yeah, I tried working on it, it just didn't work out. Did you do it or did you half cheek it? And then like, once you got tired of doing it 3 times, you got on Instagram or you got distracted. Well, I've been doing this for like 30 minutes. I mean, I guess I tried a little something. You're gonna take out your instrument and say you're gonna try to get better. Like, really be vulnerable with yourself, be honest with yourself about what you're doing, and try. And then you'll get better. So, as always, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I hope you guys stop abusing your violin. If you guys have any other video suggestions or things you want me to cover in any future videos, please let me know in the comments down below. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Ooh.